This incident happened in 2006. At that time, I was working in an insurance company. On this particular day, I was working late, and as I finished my work, I was rushing to go home. And I had to take my buses from Colombo Fort. So when I came to Colombo Fort area, I wanted to go to a toilet to pee. So I went to a public toilet in that area. As I finished my pissing job, I noticed one guy was staring at me. He was good looking and well dressed. He looked like he was after his office too. He smiled at me. I replied with a smile. Then he came to me and introduced him, and then we began to talk. His name was Ajit, and he was working in the government office in Fort. He said that he was interested in me, and he suggested that we go into a toilet cubicle. At this point, I know what he was saying, what he was want to do. I liked him too, but I was very scared to go inside a public toilet with him. So I said that I cannot go inside like that, and I told him if he has time he can come with me to my boarding place in Nugegoda, or we can meet somewhere other day at a safe place. As we were talking inside the toilet, we noticed another well-built guy was looking at us. I thought he might be also interested in either of us. We smiled at him, but he did not smile back at us. I noticed that he was listening to our conversation. I was not comfortable to stay inside, so Ajit and I started walking out of the toilet. Then, when we reached to the front door, two police officers who were outside of the toilet stopped us and asked for our IDs. I was surprised. What was happening? I was not afraid to give my ID because at that time the LTT civil war was happening. Civil war was happening, and there were a lot of checkpoints everywhere in the Colombo city. And I thought they must be randomly checking people in the fort area. After the police officers took our IDs, they asked us to come to police station with them. Then I realized something must be wrong. So I asked them what was happening and why they are asking us to come to police. Then one police officer scolded at me, "You dirty bastard, faggots, having sex in public toilets." We both got shocked when we hear that. We were looking at each other not knowing what was going on. Then I said to the police officer, "We did not do anything like that." Then the other officer scolded on my face, "Don't tell lies, faggot. Now come with us. We are going to put you in police jail and present you to the courts tomorrow." We were so scared. Then the guy who was inside came out and joined with the police officers. He was laughing at us and telling faggots too. We came to know he was a police officer without uniform. I realized that he might have given a tip to the police officers who were waiting outside to arrest us because he was listening to our conversation. I told him, "You saw us inside. We were just only talking. We were not having sex." But he did not reply. He just laughed. We realized that these police officers know that we were not having sex, but they came to know that we were gay guys. We both started begging them not to take us to the police station, but they did not listen to us. They put us into the police jeep, which was parked close to that area, and the officer who was not in uniform got into the jeep as well and sat close to us. Other two officers were standing outside. Ajit started begging him, saying that he is working in the government office, and if something happened, he will lose his job, and asked his help to get released. He did not give an answer, just laughed at us, telling, "Faggots, you have to pay a lot of money as a fine if you want to go home," and asked us whether we have money to pay. I said I only have few hundreds of rupees with me, and the Ajit told he has around 500 rupees with him. Then that officer laughed at us, saying, "You both have only less than 1000 rupees." Then he told us, "If you guys can give me 4000 rupees, I could help you to get out of now." Then I realized that this police officer was planning to arrest us because he thought he could get some bribe. Well, Ajit and I wanted to give that amount of money, and all we want at this point was to go home without having any problems. So we said that we don't have that much money in our hands, but we could go to an ATM machine and take some money and give it to him. He did not believe it. He went back to other police officers who were in front of the police jeep and started talking. They all looked at us and started laughing at us. We thought we could give them 4000 rupees and go home. Suddenly, a senior police officer came to the police jeep. He looked at us and asked why we were in the jeep. We told them those officers asked us to get into the jeep. Then the senior officer went and talked with the rest of the police officers, and he ordered them to take us to the police station. Then the officer who drove the police jeep told us we were very unlucky because of the senior officer saw us, so they could not do anything right now. They took us to the police station and took our wallets, belt, and all our belongings and put us into the police jail. We were there whole night. The next day morning, some other police officer came to us and gave us a chance to take some calls and ask help. I didn't know to whom to call. Ajit also didn't know what to do. I could not call my home or office, ask help. I was scared of what they might think about us. I might lose my job when they come to know about what happened and came to know that I am gay. Ajit also so afraid that he will lose his government job. We came to know that the police were written on their books as we were arrested for showing inappropriate behavior in a public toilet. The officer who was observing us inside the toilet came to duty in the noon time. This time he was in uniform. He came to me and told that I could call somebody and ask them to come and pay the fine in the evening and get us released. He also told that he didn't write in the books as we are homosexuals. If he wrote like that, then the judge might send us to jail for few years. So he said he purposely did not write like that we were homosexuals. I didn't know to whom to call and ask help. I remembered one of my gay friend who was working in Colombo City. I called him and told the story and asked him to come for help. He said he asked from the Companions on Journey and Equal Ground. None of those organizations willing to help us at that moment. Then he called his rich gay friend who was living in Colombo City and asked his help. He was agreed to help, and then they came in his car to the police station. I said to my friend that I will pay back the money and ask them to pay the fine and get us released. They agreed to do so. Then I went to the police officer who talked to me and told that my friends are here to pay the fine. Then the police officers took us to the court. Then we talked to a lawyer who were at the courts and explained the situation. Then the lawyer spoke with the police officers and went inside and talked with the judge and came back to us and told each person has to pay 2500 rupees as a government fine. Altogether we both of us 5000 rupees, and the lawyer fees was 5000 rupees too. My friend's friend went to the ATM and brought the money, and the police took us to the judge. The lawyer said his clients are guilty and like to pay the fine. Then the judge ordered each of us to pay the rupees 2500 as a government fine, and he dismissed the case. We paid the government fine as 5000 rupees and the lawyer fee as 5000 rupees and got release and came out of the courts. I went with my friend to ATM machine and took money and paid back to my friend's friend and thanked him very much for his kind help. Now after few years I came to know Sri Lankan police arrest gays and threaten them like this to take bribes. That day, because of the senior officers saw us, so the police officers could not take bribe. As gays, we could not get help from Sri Lankan police. Some of them always try to take advantage from the gays and try to take bribes like this.